What is up, ladies and gents? My name is Sylph, and today I'm going to help you decide on what 1.5 banner is best for you to roll on. Please keep in mind that despite what I or anyone else ever says, you still have final word on who you want to roll on. These are merely suggestions and some explanations to help clear the air for you when it comes to spending your hard-earned primogems. Now, as I always say in these types of videos, I want to stress that the most important thing is that you should always be going for characters that will improve your enjoyment of the game. This could mean a variety of different things depending on who you are and what you like. If you were to completely blank and forget everything I say today except for one thing, I'm going to condense my main point into a catchy phrase right now. Please roll for the person that you want the most to get the most enjoyment out of the game. In other words, waifu is laifu. That's right, waifu is laifu. And I don't really have one for husbando, so yes, Zhongli is also a waifu. I want to make sure that you guys pick the character that you want. No matter who might seem better or worse meta-wise, you pick the character that you feel the most comfortable with. When I'm deciding on rolling for a character or not, there's about 4 criteria that I use, and I'm going to hope that they help you as well. They are character or design, their role in a team composition, strength of the character, and fun factor. Both of these characters have very specific roles they fulfill in the game, but ultimately it depends on what you are looking for, as I keep saying. Let's start off with Eula. From a design standpoint, I love her. She's like if Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII and 2B from Nier Automata fused together, this would be the character that they birthed. She has the look and style of Lightning with the elegant and flashy attacks of 2B, and I love it. Eula will be a cryo main damage dealer, so she has an ability that applies cryo, but her bread and butter is physical damage. And because she wields a claymore, the easiest comparison that we all have is Razor. And if Razor's anything to go off of, I'm confident that Eula is going to be incredibly strong. Razor is a really super simple character to use, and he is one of the best 4-stars that can carry you into the endgame without much work at all. I do want to note though that Claymore characters tend to attack slower than other weapons, so sometimes you'll need to stop your attacking in order to dodge, but then again, this kind of happens with every weapon type. I just noticed it tends to happen the most with Claymores, so I wanted to point that out for you guys. Her E is an ice attack that'll grant you more defensive capabilities, such as anti-stagger and more defense. At this point in the game, I find one of the most annoying things to me is getting stun locked and not being able to attack, so being able to have that resistance sounds super duper nice. Her ultimate has 2 stages. First is a gigantic cryo swipe that does a lot of damage, and the second is a hovering sword around you that's actually a ticking time bomb that'll explode in front of the enemies in front of you. It's gonna blow up and deal physical damage to everything around you, and honestly, exploding swords make me wonder if canonically Klee had something to do with this. I also want to note that her passive talent has a 10% chance to double talent books that you craft, so if you don't have Xingqiu, this is super useful. The talents for crafting books are so underrated because the book talent domains have awful rates when it comes to getting those books. You get like 2 green, 2 blue on average every 20 resin, so that's so nice to have if you don't have them already. All in all, it's pretty simple. If you're in need of a main DPS or you just want a new main DPS for a variety of reasons, then just roll on her. It's pretty much as simple as that. While Eula is a tried and true main DPS, and she will more than likely be a simple character to use, Zhongli is the Swiss Army knife of the entire game, and this Tonka truck of a man can really do it all. Quite literally, he can fill 3 roles, so whatever your team needs, he will gel right in perfectly. It might take quite a bit of time till you can set up said roles, but once you do, he can fit anything. Zhongli's ultimate throws a moon or an asteroid of some sort at the ground, and it deals big boy damage to everything around you and petrifies all the enemies. Buys you time just in case you're about to die. If you screw up a lot like me, then this is your panic button. And fun fact about the ult, if you petrify a big enemy, you can actually move them a little bit if you pop Venti's ult as well. Normally Venti's ult can't move big enemies, but if you pair these two, it works. Is that considered a flavored win? I think so. His elemental ability has 2 parts depending on if you tap or you hold the button. If you tap, it throws a pillar in front of you that pings every couple seconds to deal geo damage in a small area. But as of the new buffs, holding it now deals a shockwave attack, puts a shield on you, and it puts that pillar in front of you, all at once. So now there's really no reason to tap anymore, unless you just mess up, like me, which happens from time to time. The shockwave is nice for breaking geoshields or mining crystals, but really, the shield is the meat and potatoes of his kit, and it's the reason why he's so helpful. It lasts 20 whole seconds and scales based on his HP stat, so the higher the HP, the longer you can go without shattering. This thing is truly amazing, and it really makes it so that way you can avoid mechanics like dodging if you really want. And you might have heard some people say that his shield is super godly and it never breaks and it's invincible. That's not true at all. The shield actually breaks on me more than you think. Now, it doesn't break all the time, but it definitely breaks way more than you would think something like this would. And honestly, while his shield is by no means invincible, it is still a much better security system than anything MiHoYo has implemented for Genshin Impact. So let's just give them props for that. They did something right. The 3 roles that Zhongli can fit are as follows: main DPS carry or auto attack spammer, sub DPS carry or ult spammer, support unit or shield spammer. The spammer titles are more to simplify roles for people who don't yet understand them. They don't mean Zhongli only does that one thing, it's just the bread and butter of the role. If you really want, you can always auto attack, even with support Zhongli, for instance, for the meme of it. I mean, heck, I do it from time to time just to see that kung fu kick animation because it's badass. As a main DPS, Zhongli would take up most of your field time and actually use his spear to attack enemies like he did thousands of years ago. Generally, you're going to be going for physical damage cups and artifact sets like Bloodstained Chivalry or Retracing Bolide, since he's going to be attacking a lot. Use the best weapon you have and go for buffing attack and crit stats. As a sub DPS, he won't be on the field long, so you want to make his time count by dealing an ultimate so strong the dinosaurs go extinct again. Some combination of Archaic Petra, Noblesse Oblige, and Gladiator's Finale will be the artifact sets you want. You want a decent amount of E recharge, so that way he can recover the ult reliably, so that way you can keep spamming said ult, so keep this in mind. But also, just like main DPS, don't forget about the crit. You want lots and lots of crit. And finally, the easiest of the roles to set up, support, or as I call it, shield spam. The new Tenacity of the Millilith artifact set is perfect for him, and the only substats you really need, HP percent and energy recharge. That's it. Energy recharge is for the ultimate, so you can use it as a panic button, and HP is for that shield. The reason I say this is because it is the most lenient to build in terms of all of the substats that you need, since, as I said, you really only need 2 substats. You don't need to worry about anything else. You can have awful luck and still have a good artifact set for support Zhongli. This is the best role to go in the very beginning if you get Zhongli, but over time you definitely want to build some of the other ones so that way you can experiment, see what you like, and so you can hit hard with them as well. The beauty of this character is that there's no really wrong way to build him. It's just going to take some time before you can play some of the other roles. As for me, I use him as a shield bot, and this seems to be the least popular build of the 3. I really value the safety net that he provides at any given team of mine, and even when the shield breaks, I just run around until the cooldown comes back up and I'm ready to go. I enjoy mixing and matching my teams around all the time. However, Zhongli is the one character who never leaves my team, and I say that even after getting Venti. If this were a different RPG, I would have to say that starting out with Zhongli is the equivalent of starting on beginner or easy mode, as he really makes hard content much more doable and forgiving. If you're the type of person who loves a challenge and starts every single new game on very hard, impossible, or like proud mode, then I would not recommend him for you. You are not going to get a challenge out of the game when you use him. He's very different in terms of playstyle, but you're going to get super bored after using him for a short while because he really makes the game easier. I know there's some of you who are worried about power creep and characters becoming obsolete over time, but honestly, true power creep isn't going to happen in a game like this. Since Genshin is PvE, the game's power gaps are much more condensed, because all a character needs to do is help you clear a certain level, and pretty much anyone can do that. It's just that some require more elbow grease than others. As far as 5 stars go, all of them are super useful, and none of them are really bad. And to reiterate my original statement from the beginning, waifu is laifu, so I want you guys to make sure that you roll on the character that you want. I can speak a lot about Zhongli and really hype him up, but if you really want Eula, I want you to roll on Eula. But if I was to speak on behalf of uniqueness, then I have to say support characters are much more niche in this game because they all have something very different to offer in terms of gameplay, whereas DPS characters tend to have just new flashy attacks or a new weapon to differentiate between them. If you love shonen anime and all the super epic build-up attacks and the super flashiness of these characters, then maybe getting a new DPS every few months might be your cup of tea. But I think for the average player, especially the casuals out there struggling to beat domains on their own, Zhongli will be a huge boon to you. His banner also has Yanfei as a main DPS, so if you get them both, you'll have a main DPS and a support character ready to go, straight out of the box. Ultimately, you have to know where you draw the line for who you want to roll. And honestly, you can say no to both banners as well, and that's fine. If you have stuck around until this point of the video, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you get the character that you want. With how bad Genshin's rates are, I think we all need it. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, feel free to subscribe to know the next time that I post a video. I also stream over on Twitch, so make sure to catch me there when 1.5 drops so you can see me roll on Zhongli's banner. Until next time folks, thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you around. Peace soup. Have a fantastic day, ladies and gentlemen.